And hi everybody, welcome. I know Sarah just said it's not hot, 30 degrees, but honestly in England that's hot. We're not really cut out for that kind of heat. But yeah, 48 degrees is certainly a lot hotter. Yeah, so slightly different focus this week. We're not looking at one of the papers, but we are looking at vocabulary. So this is going to be relevant to the productive papers, to the speaking and the writing, okay? And what we're going to look at today is some specific areas of vocabulary and what it really means to know a word and to use a word in English, okay? So those are some of the areas that we're going to be looking at, and also some of those common mistakes that people make and maybe try and avoid some of those. And we're also going to look at some ways to expand your vocabulary, to remember vocabulary and to use it, okay? So let's get started with some ideas that you might have. So I'm going to put some words up here. And I want you to just have a look at the word, tell me what it means, but then also tell me how it makes you feel. You know, what do you think about when you see this, this word? Okay, so I'm going to look at the first one. So the first one is yummy. So yes, delicious, so it makes you think of food. Okay, yeah, very good. Any other thoughts about that? If you scrumptious, oh, hi, Samine, yes, very good. Excellent, yes, good taste. Any ideas? Somebody's feeling hungry. Ah, very good point there. Is it informal? So we're going to look at that in a minute, very smart. What about the next word? Exquisite. Okay, very nice, Pranay, good taste, beautiful, excellent. Yes, luxury, Alan, I think that's quite good. What else, what does it make you think of? Quality, very nice. Okay, very good. How about a challenge? Okay, yeah, some kind of task. Okay, or some kind of struggle or hurdle. How does it make you feel if something is a challenge? Maybe it's difficult. Yeah, okay. Anybody have a positive feeling about a challenge? Okay, very nice, Arjun. Makes me feel motivated. So we've got some kind of different feelings coming from there, or rewarding, things like that, yeah. And what about the last one? IELTS is a challenge, yes, you're right there. Okay, yeah, so improvements, growth, very nice, evolution. Okay, and again, how does it make you feel? What do you think of when you think about the word progress? Okay, so we've got kind of quite a positive one, makes you feel proud, makes you feel uplifted, very nice, Romario. Yeah, elated, very nice, good. Okay, so we've got some kind of more positive feelings going on with progress, okay. So, and we've looked also at some synonyms there. So if we think about knowing a word, these are some of the areas that we might look at. So if we look at yummy, first of all, what kind of word is it? Is it a noun? Is it a verb? Is it an adjective? Yeah, we're getting there now. Yes, it's an adjective. Yeah, so can somebody give me a collocation, a yummy, and what would you use with yummy? What might you have after that word? Okay, very nice. Yummy food, yummy cookies. Yes, yummy dinner. Very good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's an adjective. What about exquisite? Yummy lunch as well. Yummy pastry, definitely. What, it's an adjective. Okay, very good. What can we, okay, Abdel, very nice. Exquisite beauty, exquisite taste. That's very nice. And exquisite, yes, very good. Okay. Exquisite cars, I'm not sure. It's quite a delicate feeling, exquisite, yeah. Okay, how about challenge? What kind of word is that? Exquisite jewels, that was very nice. Okay, very good. A noun. Okay, and what adjective might we put in front of that? Okay, well, a challenging experience, you're turning it into an adjective. That's quite good. What could we put in front of challenge? Yeah, a hard challenge, a tough challenge, a difficult challenge. That's very nice, yeah. Okay, and how about progress? Cutthroat, very nice. What kind of word is, okay, well, very interesting, yeah. So it can be a noun, progress, or it can be a verb to progress. Actually, the stress changes. Okay, gradual progress, fast progress, huge progress, a considerable amount, yes, so that's very good. Steady progress, then, that's very nice. Significant progress, we've got there. Tremendous progress. Okay, we've got some very good words coming up there. Okay, so one thing you need to think about when you're looking at a word is what form of the word is it? Adjective, adverb, noun. Okay. And then another thing to look at is what we call register. So is it a formal word or an informal word? So which words there would you say are informal? Okay, yes, definitely yummy is very informal. So remember, in terms of the test, informal language for the speaking, so yummy would be a great word to use. It's very idiomatic. Wouldn't work in the writing, okay, because it's informal. Okay. Yeah, and I would say that the others you could use, they're quite formal. Progress is quite neutral probably, but so thinking about formality, formal or informal, is another thing that we need to think about. Okay. And then if you remember, I was asking you how it makes you feel. Okay. So that would be a positive or negative. So which words there would you, okay, so HP thinks that, yeah, we're all positive. Any of those have a negative connotation for anybody? Possibly, yeah. So a challenge, I think it would depend on your personality, wouldn't it? You might have a positive feeling about that. You might have a negative. I think the others very definitely are positive, okay? But, how does the word make you feel? How does it make the person who's reading the word or listening to the word feel is a very important aspect of vocabulary, okay? And then we've also looked at this kind of words that we go together. So yummy food, yummy dish, exquisite jewelry, exquisite taste. So using the right words together is also very important. Okay. And we're going to look at all of those in a little bit more detail. Yes, a challenge might make you feel anxious. Now, well, that could be quite a negative feeling that you have from that. Okay, so knowing a word. So it's not enough just to know the meaning of the word. There's a whole range of areas that we need to think about when we're learning vocabulary. Remember, we never use words in isolation. Whether you're speaking or writing, you're always using them together with other words, with other structures. And it's really important to know how it fits into what you're writing or saying, how it makes the other person feel, what it expresses about you. Okay, so lots of other things that we need to have a look at, and we're going to now have a look at all of the different areas that you need to know in order to say, yes, I really know how to use this word. And then we're going to look in detail at some of them today, and then some of them we will look at in a later webinar, because this is a very large area, obviously. So let's have a look at this. So we're going to put two words up. The words are bolded, and we've got to think about what the difference is. What are we specifically looking at in each of these cases? So if we look there, we've got, we walked through the market, and then we've got, she threw the ball to me. So what's the difference there? Okay. If we're thinking about, okay, yeah, they're different, but think about how we're saying it. Not sure we're getting any there. You're right, they're different parts of speech, but think about through and through. The sound is the same, but what's different? Ah, Manta, very good. Yes, there we go, we're getting it. Yes, so the spelling. So the word sounds the same if you hear it, but the spelling is different. Different meanings mean different spellings. Okay, so we've got to be very careful with that. Yes, okay, very good. What about this one? I'm not going to say them because I want you to have a read and think about this. Okay, okay, very good. Yeah, so you have 1 minute to prepare, but everything they did was worked out in minute detail. Okay, so we have different pronunciation for different meanings. Okay, quite different. Minute, period of time, and minute meaning. What does minute mean? Okay, yeah, Amber's got it. Yeah, tiny, 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 very tiny, a minute detail. Okay. So pronunciation, of course, is very, very important. Stress is very important to when you're speaking. Okay. How about the next one? What are we focusing on here? What's different about those two sentences? Have a look. No, tense is the same. Yes, okay. Yes, okay, good. So we've got word formation. So in the first one, we have an adjective and a noun. And in the second one, we have a verb and an adverb. So again, as we just looked at, knowing the different forms of the word. It's not enough if you only know the noun. For example, you should know the noun, the adjective, the verb, the negative adjective, all of those different words. So yes, tree, formation, parts of speech, whatever you want to call it, very, very important. Okay. How about the next one? What do you think about that? What are we looking at? Okay, I think we're kind of getting there a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it does change the meaning. So this is collocation. So generally we would say, yeah, we could say gorgeous for a woman. Generally we would use the word handsome with a man. Okay, that's what you think of. You think of male. If you want to say women, you'd be more likely to use, which word would we use with woman? Yes, you could say a beautiful woman, good looking. Good looking can be used for both. So that's one of those kind of neutral words that you can use for both. We're going to look at collocation in more detail in a moment. So if somebody asked the question about what it was, we'll explain that when we get there. I've got some great word, blonde. Apparently is the meaning. Very beautiful. Gorgeous is very nice. Yeah, pretty. Can women get, you can talk about a handsome salary. Yes, that's very nice. Yeah, we've got a very good range of women. Comely, oh, I like that. That's haven't seen that for a while. Attractive, very good. Okay. You're really going to use it for men. You've got to be very careful. Okay. Oh, hello, Duha. Hello. So let's move on to the next one. So what are we looking at here? I like swimming. I like to swim. Kind of, not really. I think we're getting there. It's not exactly tense. They're both in the present tense. What's different? Oh, I think, yes, we were coming out up there. So this is what we call colligation. Okay. Which similar to collocation, but it's how you put the different parts of a sentence together. Okay, so what do you follow a verb with? Do you follow it with an infinitive, with a gerund? You know, what kind of preposition, things like that. Okay, so colligation is how you build a sentence, if you think about it that way. So how are you putting all of the words together to make the structure correct? So collocation is specifically about vocabulary. Hi, Arjun. And collocation is about sentence structure. Okay, so more on the grammatical side of how things work together. Hello, hello, Dorothy. I'm getting everyone's saying hello. Okay, so things like verbs, what we use for that, but it's structure rather than vocabulary. Hello, Narilla. Hello. Oh my goodness, so many back like Terminator. Okay, how about the next one? Difficult and challenging. I'm very well, thank you. Yes, okay, so they're synonyms, so what's different about them? They have the same meaning, but in what way would you say they're different? Well, okay, yes, the spelling is different, but I don't know if okay, very good. Yes, so we're looking at the connotation. Okay, so connotation is how it makes you feel. Does it have a positive sense about it? Does it have a negative sense about it? Is it neutral? You know, not all words are positive or negative. Some of them are neutral, sorry. But connotation is very, very important when you're speaking and when you're writing as well. Okay. So difficult, you know, if something's difficult, I have a negative feeling about it. If something is challenging, that could be a more positive feeling. Before we had words like motivated. Hello, Mabel. So, you know, it could be positive or negative, but I think it has more of a positive feeling that, you know, you want a challenging job rather than a difficult job. Hello. Okay. Okay, next one, children and kids. Okay, very good. Yes, okay, so yeah, this is what we call, we can call it tonal register. So register, is it formal or is it informal? Okay, so the meaning is the same. It's not really, well, I mean, you're right. Kids was probably, I think, originally an American word, but we use it a lot in the UK now. But that's quite an interesting one because that would be another difference is American uses and British usage. Okay. But at the moment, children is neutral or formal and kids is very informal. Thank you very much. Sham. I'm feeling a little hot, to be honest, so I don't know. And the last one, so we've got let's get the ball rolling and let's begin. Okay, very good. So the first one, we're using an idiom. Okay, it's idiomatic language. The second one is just neutral. Okay, so just a very neutral word. In terms of the writing, you only want to use formal English. So kids is definitely something you want to avoid 100% in the writing. Okay, in the task 2, certainly. You should only be using formal register when you're doing the writing task 2. Okay, idioms you would use in the speaking. Okay. Great to use in the speaking. You want to show that you understand colloquial English, idioms, you know, the way that we speak. It's a very different way of using the language from formal English that you would have in the essays. Okay. If you're doing general writing, general training, then sometimes your task 1 is an informal letter. It's a letter to a friend. In that case, you can also use idioms. You should use idioms. You should use informal language. Those doing academic writing is 100% formal. There's no possibility of using informal language. And general training, formal letter, formal language. Task 2, always formal language. Don't use idioms, okay? You should be using academic English. Okay, so be very careful about your register there. That's really important. Okay, so these are all of the things we've got there. How many? 8 different areas that you should know to say that you know that you can use this word and you really understand the word. Okay, quite apart from the meaning. So 8 other areas that you need to understand. Okay. So let's move on to look at some of these in more detail. Yes, if you use informal language in the writing, in the task 2, that is really going to reduce your score. Okay, register is very important. Also, if you're doing the letter, the task 1, there are formal letters and informal letters. If you get the wrong register, or if you mix your registers, which means that you're not aware of register, that will also reduce your score. Okay, so register is really critical for the writing. Okay, so let's have a look in more detail. Okay, so those are the areas we're going to look at today. Okay, so first one is spelling. Okay, so not sure what's going on in chat. So let's look at some of the common spelling mistakes that we can use. No jargon. Okay, task 2, writing, formal academic English, no jargon, no slang, no idioms, no informal language. Okay, very, very specific form of language. Okay, let's look at some common spelling mistakes. Okay, so remember, spelling is key part of the vocabulary in the writing. Very important to get your spelling right. Okay, so let's have a look at some. These are very common misspelled words. You know, I'm marking a lot of writing. Jamie's also marking a lot of writing. And these are the kind of words that come up again and again where incorrect spelling. So let's see if you can correct them. Okay. So let's have a look at the first one. So again, very common area of mistake is single consonants and double consonants in the middle of the word. Things like double P's, double C, double N, very, very many mistakes. Okay. So have a look at that word. That is the wrong spelling. Okay, very good. So we definitely only want one C in the middle, and we want 2 S's at the end. Okay, very good. What about this one? Okay, good. Double C. Someone didn't want to write the whole word. They just wrote double C, but you're absolutely right. Okay, so yeah, double C, then double E. Okay, so those are quite common areas. That's an area to be careful of, the double consonants. Okay. In English, we have a lot of vowel sounds that we don't pronounce. We kind of swallow those sounds. It reduces the number of syllables in the word. And that can lead to spelling mistakes if people know how it sounds, but they don't know how it's written. Okay. So let's have a look at that one. Separate. Gnarly. That's a great word. Okay, very good. Yes. So because we don't pronounce that second vowel, often people make a mistake. So yes, really separate, and then E at the end. Good. Okay, very good. And what about the next one? Okay, okay, yeah, 90% of you are getting it right there. General. But in terms of pronunciation, we would tend to say general, and we'd miss out that middle syllable, that middle vowel. So one of the issues, I think, with English is that the spelling and the pronunciation are not helpful. You know, it's very important to kind of know the spelling and know the pronunciation almost separately, because unless it's a very basic word, it's really not going to help you knowing the one or the other. Okay, we also have a lot of silent letters, a lot of letters which are not pronounced. And again, that leads you to making some spelling mistakes. So what about that one? Okay, yeah, most of you getting right. Pneumonia. Okay, that is a hard word to spell as well, probably for English people as well. Yes, it's that RN in the middle of the word, government. If you think about the verb is to govern. which ends with an N. So then we're adding ment on afterwards. So that's a good way to spell. Okay, Subhash, very good. You're ahead of us. The next one, which is a very, very common mistake. Okay, yes, very good. So again, environment. Okay, but environment, and we just don't pronounce it. It gets swallowed up, and that means that a lot of people spell it. Okay, Saksham, double C, double M. Okay, double C, double M for accommodation. Everything's double. Okay, I got some great words coming up here that are hard to spell. Okay, confusing words. So what about this one? It had a big, okay, very good. So in this case, you're confusing the adjective and the noun, very, very similar. Sorry, the verb and the noun to affect and effect, which is the noun, okay? The difference between program and program in terms of the spelling is the longer word is British and the shorter form is the American spelling. It doesn't matter in the IELTS if you are using British or American spelling, but you should try and be consistent, okay? It will not cause you problems if you're using American spelling, okay? How about the next one? This is a very, very common mistake I've seen a lot. Yeah, okay, so loose, completely different meaning, okay? Loose and lose. So that's something to be careful about. And less, Mohammed, very good. Then the noun is loss, okay? Okay, and some words are just difficult, generally speaking. So how about that one? Entrepreneur, very good. We're getting more or less, yeah. Which is, yep. Okay, good. That second R, getting both of those R's in there doesn't always work. And how about this one? Okay, very good. Questionnaire with double N. Yeah, more or less getting there. Okay, so that's one is also a bit tricky. Okay, so do be careful with some of those common spelling mistakes. Double consonants, very big issue. Silent letters also, and some words are just very difficult to spell, even for English people, to be honest. So that's spelling. Now we're going to look at pronunciation. Okay, so some words are difficult to pronounce. Do any words that you find particularly difficult to pronounce? Can you put them in the chat? Okay, leisure. Okay, yeah, TH can be a big problem for a lot of different nationalities. Career, genre, very good. Masseur, entrepreneur, oust. There's some great words coming up here. Okay, beret. I like that one. Okay, tip of the, yeah, so we got a lot of words that are quite difficult to pronounce. Just go for fridge long. It's a lot easier than just saying the whole word. Okay. Oh, choir, very good, Praveen. That is a really tricky one. And also those MBs like tomb and lamb. Biology, Saksham, biology. Okay. So let's have a look at some of these. So it can be the sound. Vowels are often some of the most difficult words. But again, those consonant groups like subtle, Thapas has just put up, those are quite difficult. And getting the, stress of the word can also make a big difference, okay? Vegetables, yeah, that is quite a tricky one as well. I think we're getting, I'm not sure I could spell that, Vu, and I'm not sure it's going to come up in the IELTS test. That looks a little bit technical, okay? A lot of difficult words. So let's have a look at this. So obviously it's not easy for you to pronounce these, but what we're going to do is see if you can say how many syllables does it have. So we're thinking about whether there's some silent syllables there, and which syllable has the stress. Okay, so if we look at the first one, obviously I'm not going to say these at the spot. How many syllables in that one? Oh, got a bit of a tricky one. And which syllable do you think the stress should be on? Okay, yeah, we're going to add the first. So it is 3 syllables, okay? Comfortable. The OR, the second, what would be the second syllable, is completely missed out. So it's comfortable, okay? And we've got up there the phonetic alphabet. If you know the phonetic alphabet, that's great. If you don't, you know, writing a word in some form that is going to help you to understand and to remember the pronunciation, like we have at the next one. So comfortable, stress on the first syllable and only 3 syllables. Okay, Arab connoisseur, very nice word. We have a lot of French words in English that can be quite tricky to pronounce. Okay, how about this one? Okay, very good. And where does the stress fall? Okay, very good. And what letter there are we not going to pronounce? Okay, very good, guys. Yeah, so it's just castle. Okay, the T is question section. Ubiquity. Okay, ubiquity, 4 syllables. Okay, what about the next one? This causes quite a lot of problems. Oh, a little bit of, okay, and where do you think the stress falls? Okay, interesting. Okay, so it's 3 syllables and the stress falls on the second syllable, okay? Chaotic. It's chaotic, so very good. Some people got that very well. But chaotic, yeah? Okay, so yeah, otic. Well, I suppose it's the O or the AO, okay? So because that's a really tricky word to spell. Chaos is the noun, so that often has causes a bit of problems with people. So CH sometimes can be pronounced as a K. Okay, very good. And a kernel, very difficult word. So it doesn't look anything like the way it's spelt. Kernel, we have brusque, and we have archive. Can you add attendees, guys, when you write? Because otherwise it doesn't make any sense to the other people here when I'm speaking about what you've put down. Okay, how about the next one? Okay, 2 syllables, good. And the stress falls. Okay, very good. Duty. Okay, so this DU in English often pronounced with a J sound. Okay, yes, exactly, Mohammed. It would be like it's a J. Okay, in British English. Okay, duty. Okay, or like June, sand dune. Okay, how about the next one? Okay, 1 syllable, very good. Okay, so that's where the stress is, there is no, so height. Again, bit of a tricky one. That GHT, remember, is just pronounced like a T, which is often, actually probably more the other way around. The spelling is quite tricky with the GHT, okay. What about this one? How many syllables? Yeah, weight as well. Okay, good, 2 syllables, and the stress falls on, okay, very good, guys. Okay, and what letter do we not pronounce? Okay, very good, island, not with the S, okay. How about this one? This is always a tricky one. Okay, very good, 2 syllables. Okay, and where does the stress fall? Okay, very good. Thorough. This is quite a tricky word to say. Okay, so thorough. Thorough investigation was made. Okay, we're not really pronouncing hardly any of the letters in that case. It's really, really shrunken down. Yeah, exactly, Romario, thorough. It's just like that. Okay, how about this one? Okay, Gabriella, listen. Thorough. Okay, remember this is recorded, so you'll be able to go back and have a look at these pronunciations. Yeah, okay, you're ahead of me. So yes, 3 syllables, vegetable. So again, we don't pronounce that second E, okay? And the pronunciation is on the first syllable, exactly, vegetable. And the last one, this often causes problems with spelling and pronunciation. Okay, quite interesting. It can be, there are a couple of different ways to pronounce this. I'd say the most common is with 3 syllables, vehicle. But it's quite a tricky one, yeah, and the stress is at the beginning, so vehicle. Okay. So, you know, be careful with that pronunciation. It's not helpful the way spelling works in English. It doesn't really tell you how to pronounce it. So, you know, make sure that you're aware of the spelling and the pronunciation. Okay. So the next thing we're going to look at is word formation. So let's look at that quite quickly. So remember, we can look at nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. There's also then a negative form of the adjective as well, or sometimes a negative form of the noun. So you should be able to do that. Yeah, you should have all of those. Okay. So let's see if we can complete the chart. Aisle. Yes, exactly. Arjun, so the S in aisle is missing, okay? All right, so aisle, the supermarket aisle. Okay, very good. So the verb practice, same pronunciation, but we change it to an S. Okay, so then we've got practical. What's the negative? Be careful. What's the negative? Okay, very good, Hamada. Impractical. Okay. Okay, the next one, we've got successful as the adjective. Okay, very good, success. The verb is succeed, very good spelling going on here. And the negative form of the adjective is unsuccessful, very good. Just going back to spelling, notice that when you have full, F-U-L at the end of a word, of an adjective, 1 L, okay? That's also a big spelling mistake that I see. Okay, all right, we're going ahead. So yes, the noun is the same. We have care and care. The adjective is, okay, yeah, careful, but caring also is very good. Yeah, and then the negative form is careless. Okay, very good, guys. Doing really, really well here. Okay. Okay, we've got enjoyable. Okay, very good. We've got enjoyment. And joy is related, so you're right. Verb is enjoy, very good. And the negative form of the adjective, you can't say uncareful, Mohammed, careless. Okay, very good, unenjoyable. Okay. Next one is useful. Okay, so yeah, we've got use. Got to be careful with the pronunciation here. So use for the noun, use for the verb. It has a Z sound. And then, yeah, again, this is like careless. So this is where we change F-U-L to less. So careful, careless, useful, useless, helpful, helpless, slightly different meaning there. So belief. Okay, good, believe. And then we've got the adjective is believable. And the negative adjective. Okay, very good, Kelvin. Disbelief is the negative noun. Unbelievable is the negative adjective. Okay, very good, guys. And again, be careful with the spelling there. That one's a bit of a tricky spelling. So you should know all of those forms of the word in order to say, yes, I know this word. Okay. And now we're going to look at collocation. Okay. Okay, yes, unhelpful. Thank you very much. That's good. So collocation means that you use the right words together. Okay. So for example, here, coffee, we talk about strong coffee, we talk about weak coffee. If we talk about wind, you know, we can say, or if we talk about rain, we talk about heavy rain, but we talk about strong wind or strong sun or yummy food, Abdul, exactly. So collocation is using the right words together. And one of the things that really differentiates Band 6 and Band 7 for vocabulary is knowing collocation. Okay, band 7 is the first time that they mention awareness of collocation, and then band 8 and band 9. So if you want to get a 7, you need to get a 7. Collocation is something that you really need to focus on. Okay, Chitra, sweltering heat, fantastic collocation. That's really, really good. Okay, so using the right words together, that's collocation, and knowing which words form a partnership. Okay, good. Vu, heated argument, great. We've got lots of really good collocations there. Okay, so, you know, don't learn words in isolation, like blazing row, very good. You know, learn what goes with it, learn the whole form of it. Okay, so let's go through this. So what word is missing from here? Lousy husband. Yeah, well, you're not wrong. Okay, make or file, very nice, yeah, or lodge, very good, guys, yeah, so make a complaint, file a complaint, lodge a complaint, very good. What about the last one? With presentation, we would say, yeah, gave, so you give a presentation, okay. What about this one with company? What would you use with company? Okay, very nice guy. Oh, hello, Suzanne. Yes, you enjoy somebody's company. Number 4, it was a difficult job, but I did. You could, yeah, register a complaint. Yeah, you can register a complaint. Yeah. Okay, good. Did my best. How about with arrangement? Okay. Yeah, we made, so you would make an arrangement to meet later on, and made in the past. Okay, all right, I think we're just going to move on because we're getting on with time. And another very important area to look at with collocation is the prepositions. So we have a lot of prepositions after nouns, after verbs, after adjectives, everything, and there's no logic to it. You have to just learn that. Okay, yes, Neo, balanced diet is a really good collocation. Yeah, okay. So let's just go through these. So again, what preposition do you think fits here? Okay, very good. Impact on, cause harm to. Okay, very good for most people. Okay, with risk, what do we say? Okay, very good, at risk. Okay, associated with, very good, guys. Okay, and take immediate action to, very good, to address this issue. Okay, so don't learn the word on its own, learn the preposition that goes after it. In most cases in English, you're going to have a preposition that you use with the different words. Okay, it's not a phrasal verb. These are just separate words. You don't have to use the preposition. These are the prepositions that you use if you're continuing it. So very quickly before we go on to questions, so that's what you need to know a word. You should know all of those different parts. How do you do that? How do you learn it? How do you practice it? First thing is, you know, best resource, reading, documentaries, real English, great it's in context, so it's easier to understand, it's the right form. So a lot of reading, documentaries, that kind of thing is going to give you collocation, it's going to give you prepositions, it's going to give you register. Okay, and then when you get those interesting words, those collocations, those phrases, then record them. There are quite a lot of apps around at the moment. Quizlet is a very good one, where you have a virtual card where you have 2 sides. You can have the meaning on one side, the word on the other, or a translation, something like that. And having a notebook. I would avoid making lists. Making spider diagrams is a good way to learn vocabulary. Okay. And as I've said before, don't learn single words. Don't learn words in isolation. Learn them in phrases, learn them in sentences. Then the context is much better. Okay. And there's a good one for collocation, just the word.com. And again, finding it in articles. Very useful resource for the task 2 is the academic word list. So this gives you really, really key, really useful academic words that you can use in your writing. It also gives you the whole family of the words, all of the different word formations, and benefit, beneficial, drawback, all of these kind of words that are really, really helpful. Okay. The name of the app is up on the screen, Quizlet, if you have a look in the second part. And then use it, okay? Practice it, make sentences, try it out, use it. It's going to start as passive vocabulary, but you've got to make it active vocabulary, okay? Yeah, something like, again, this is something with the reading, don't read novels. I mean, novels are great, but they're not that close to what you get in the IELTS. So articles from good quality newspapers, things like The Economist, The Guardian, The New York Times, something like that. Bye, Suzanne. Those are the areas that are going to give you really, really good vocabulary. Yeah, Telegraph is great. Just not the tabloids, not the rubbish newspapers. Okay, so any questions? And I'll put that up there. There's a lot to do there. You're muted, Jamie. Jamie, you're muted. Oh, sorry, I don't know how to. Jamie, you're muted. Can someone tell him in chat that he's muted? Jamie's muted. I can't unmute him. He can only mute himself. Okay, I think you're going to have to put the questions in chat so I can answer them. Can you hear us, Jamie? Yeah, he can hear us. Okay. Thank you, everybody. You're telling him. Okay, guys, can you put your questions in chat so I can see them, and then I'll try and answer them. Or maybe Jamie. It's going to be quite hard. Okay, so in the essay, let me do this again. In the task 2 essay.
Aha, how about now? Okay, hi, sorry guys, my computer's running very slowly, I think because we have so many people with us in the session, so my screen keeps freezing. I can still hear you though, Annelie. I just want to say a very big thank you for presenting, and thank you everyone for contributing your answers. So I do have some of your questions here. I was going to do a little bit of promotion for our speaking and writing evaluation service. That's available on our website, IELTSonlinetest.com, and you can book some time with a speaking or writing examiner who can give you very detailed feedback on your strengths and your weaknesses. So if you're interested in that, you can check it out on our website. I'll put the link in the comments there. We also have some more resources. We have a new Facebook group, which you're welcome to join. We have we will be regularly checking that and adding different resources to the Facebook group. This is different from our regular Facebook page. So you'll be able to see that as well. Hopefully my screen won't freeze now. I'm going to put that in the comments. We also have an upcoming webinar in Vietnamese language. So if we have any students from Vietnam who would like to attend a special webinar delivered in Vietnamese, you can register for that on our website now. That's on IELTSonlinetest.com. So I can see that my screen has just frozen again. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I will try to ask some of these questions so we can get through some of them. Annelie, there's quite a lot here, so maybe we can aim for like 30 seconds per answer.
Okay, good, short answers, yeah.
Cool, yeah. Okay, so the first question is from Caroline Rebello. who would like to know the general question types for task 1, for writing task 1.
For the general training, yeah.
I think that's for academic, actually, like, but the types of questions,
okay,
maybe
yeah.
describe a graph, that kind of thing.
Okay, so there's kind of 4 types. So one is graph movement. So you have a timeline there, and you have to describe how things move over the time period. The other one is complex charts. So there's no timeline. You have usually a pie chart or a bar chart, and you have to compare the different figures and kind of order them. Then there's also maps, 2 maps, and you have to describe the differences between the two maps of the same place in 2 different times, and you describe the differences. And then processes, where you're describing the different steps of a process. Okay.
Exactly.
Sarah, I answered you in the chat, but clearly you didn't see it. Yes, usage is a noun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Close that one off.
Right. Another question from Caroline. What is considered for task achievement? How can we get a high score for task achievement? I guess that's for
task 1.
Task 1, yeah.
Okay, so task 1, task achievement, means a clear overview. It means that you put the main trends in the overview and the detail in the body, and they're very clearly divided. You use the exact figures, the exact detail in the body, and it's accurate. Okay, the information that you're using is accurate. Those are the main areas to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. A question from Abdul Peer. In the writing, how many words can we exceed the word count? So in task 1, the minimum word is 150. For task 2 is 250. How many words can we go over that word limit?
Yeah, there's no maximum word count. There's only a minimum word count, and it is very important to be over the minimum. However, you know, thinking about time and thinking about focus, you don't want to write too much more. You know, if you're writing like 160, 170 for the task 1, if you're writing 260, 280 for the task 2, that is great. Okay, so I would avoid writing too much, because you're probably then means some of it's going to be irrelevant, or it's going to be a bit more difficult for the examiner. And just to answer a question in the chat, it doesn't matter whether you're doing general training or academic. Task 2 is formal writing. Okay, there is only formal writing in the task 2, regardless of the module that you're doing.
Okay, excellent. Question from Caroline as well. There's lots of questions. Well done, Caroline. For collocations, should we use British or American English?
It doesn't matter. It's not like you have to only use British expressions. I mean, as long as they're ones that the examiner knows, and I would say that in the majority of cases, the examiners are British or tend to not be American. But again, as I said before, consistency is important. Don't be mixing up British spelling and American spelling, and British, you know, idioms and American idioms. Try and stick with one or the other, but you won't lose marks for using American spelling, idioms, etc.
Yeah, definitely. A question here from Subhash. What happens if I use the correct vocabulary but with slight misspellings? Will that reduce my score?
If it's slight and it doesn't distract or cause any strain to the examiner, you're not really going to lose that many marks. It also does depend on frequency. You know, are you making a lot of spelling mistakes? Is it just 1 or 2 spelling mistakes here and there? I mean, to get a 7, you would need to be only maybe 1 or 2 very slight spelling mistakes. And an 8, you know, you wouldn't really want to be making any spelling mistakes at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Question from Stephen Wynn. How can I improve my listening?
Exposure is the best way to improve your listening. So, podcasts, documentaries, radio, whatever resources you can find for listening. You don't have to do an exercise, just the fact that you're listening, you're going to get used to the intonation, which is one of the hardest things to get in a different language. You're going to get used to the rhythm of the language. So just try and expose yourself to as much native English as possible.
Yep, definitely. I think we have one more time. We have time for one more question, which is from Anonymous. Anonymous is saying, I have my speaking test tomorrow. What can I do?
Be confident. You're going to be fine, I'm sure. You can't really change anything now anyway. Just make sure you give good, full answers to all of the questions. And particularly in the part 3, try and structure your answers very well, using signposting. So, things like, there are 2 main disadvantages to this. The first one is da-di-da-di-da. The second one is, so it's very clear to the examiner. Don't speak too fast. That's not what fluency is about. Good, even, steady pace, clear enunciation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So best of luck, Anonymous, and best of luck to all of you that are planning to take your test in the near future. I'm sure you'll be grand. So best of luck to you. I'm afraid that's all the time we have for this session. I hope you found it helpful. It's been great hosting you guys, so thanks very much. Sorry for the slight technical problems. My screen is freezing because I think there's just so many people in the chat, so I'll try and sort that out for next time. I've posted links to our upcoming webinars in the chat there. You can join us on our Facebook page as well. If you have additional questions, feel free to add them to our comments on our YouTube videos. We do check those and we do our best to answer them. So either on YouTube or on Facebook, you'll be able to get in touch with us. So until next time, Annelie, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jamie. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Good luck if you've got your exam coming up. See you again soon if you haven't. Take care, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. See you soon. And yes, it'll be up on YouTube very soon, Maria. So tomorrow, hopefully. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye, guys. Bye. Bye.
See you, Mirza.
Hey, bye, Mirza. loyal Mirza.
Yes. Hey.
Night, night, Arjun. Good luck now, well. Good luck, guys. Bye-bye. I think Jamie's left us again, so probably the best thing to do is just leave the meeting, okay? Take care. Bye. Bye, bye, bye. I can't continue. I'm sorry. Sleep tight too, Richard. Bye-bye, guys. Take care. Night-night. Bye-bye.